Hi, in this video, we're going to talk about Sign In with Apple, integrated with React Native apps. Sign In with Apple is a new feature launched by Apple for increasing your privacy in all your apps. It's just like another OAuth authentication, like you do with Google or Facebook, but with more security, and also it comes with email masking. So let's get started.
Let's create a new React Native application using npx called Sign In with Apple. So meanwhile, while the dependencies are getting installed, I'll explain you what is the library that we're going to use for Apple with Sign In with Apple. So we have a library called React Native Apple Authentication. It's a third-party library which we'll be using for signing in with Apple. So if you see here, it works on React Native 60.060 and higher, and also you need Xcode 11 for you to develop the application. Also make sure that your iOS device or simulator is running iOS 13 or more for signing in with Apple to work. So here we'll be using Yarn to install this once we get the basic application ready. So let me click this code. So here we'll be having a boilerplate app container which we're going to be removing a lot of plugins from here. So we don't need all this. Let's have a basic template and let's remove all the things. So also clean up this one, which is kind of TypeScript from JavaScript. Let's create a new view, new container for the button, and we'll create a button that will work as our time signing with Apple button. So we'll give it a title, sign Apple. You can also give on this. So this is going to be the handler for us to write all the logic for sending with the handler. So whenever you execute this button, whenever you click on this button, this function will get executed. And now let's add the library in this application. So let me copy this and add the library. So this will add you the node modules, install the node modules, post which you need to install the pods as well. So installing pods is very important because that will give you the native library bindings and everything. So go inside iOS folder to install pods and do pod install. So now if you see, it will install your Apple authentication library as a part of the pod. And once you're done, then go back to the source folder and open iOS slash sign in with Apple XE Workspace. So now it will open Xcode where you need to configure some option for sign in with Apple to work. Once you have the sign in with Apple, the Xcode call works. So just change the bundle identifier to something you want. I'm going to do bytecard dot say sign in with Apple and go to the sign in capabilities. Select a team. You need Apple developer membership in order to sign in with Apple to work, and also do the same for tests. Once doing that, go to the target and click on the capability and select sign in with Apple. Double click on it. Once you handle it, you will see the profile gets changed. So it should have sign in with Apple as one of the capabilities, the provisional profile. Once everything is ready, save it and run the app on your simulator. I'm going to run it in iPhone simulator. So in order to work with simulator, you need to have the Apple ID running on your simulator, Apple ID installed in your simulator. For example, in my simulator, I logged into my Apple account and settings. So you make sure that you also do the same in order that Apple sign in with Apple works in the simulator. So while this is getting built, let me open the source code and add the functionality for the handler function. So if you scroll down the documentation of the plugin, you will see implementation of the login process. So this is what we need to use for our login as well. So copy the import methods, paste it here, remove the Apple button, which we don't need since we are not using the library's Apple button. We are using our custom Apple button, and have these options. And in the async on button Apple button press, you have the perform request. Copy that and have it in your source code. I'm going to clean it up so that I can use the traditional promise then method. I'm going to copy this one. So that's going to be the callback method for after this executes. So this variable or this object will have all the information about the user after he signs in. So that will give you things like identity token and email for now. So you can use that to perform the next steps. So for example, in our case, we'll be passing this identity token to Firebase application in the next video. And you can also use your custom authentication or your backend server, which will authenticate with Apple server to get the other information. So in this case, I'm just going to use the identity token and print it in the I'm printing both so that you can see both of them. Print it like that. So now we have our application launching in the simulator. So let's wait for that. Yes, it's getting launched. And also, if you see, the bundler is started for running the JavaScript. It's loading the application, loading the JavaScript bundle. You see the button, and when you click on the button, you will get a pop-up to sign in with Apple. Click on continue. You will be asked for any of the email. Either they have two options: either to use the email that you're using in the Apple account, or mask your email so that Apple doesn't reveal your identity to the app developers. So I'll go with the name, the actual ones. You'll be asked to enter the password. This is because you're using in a simulator, but if you're using in a real device, it will either, based on the authentication mechanism of the device, either uses Face ID or Touch ID. So let me enter the password here, email ID. So you get both the things after you authenticate. Which in the next video, we'll be passing this identity token to the Facebook, to the Firebase to authenticate yourself. So with which I'm concluding the Apple authentication. So this is as simple as possible, as simple as that. In your scenario, you might send it to Firebase or send it to the backend server or send it to your cloud function, which will further authenticate with Apple to get the other information.